The new year is right around the corner, and with the change in the calendar may also come some big changes to struggling teams and their disgruntled stars. Trade season tends to always heat up at the turn of the new year because that's when the trade deadline begins to creep up, and as it gets closer and closer, the rumors that we've been hearing about tend to become reality, and hearsay becomes actual deals getting done. Bleacher Report just put out another article taking all of this into account by proposing a fresh batch of blockbuster trade ideas that they believe are on the way in the new year. So as always, I'll be going through each one of them, analyzing whether or not they make sense, why or why not the teams involved would want to do it, and who benefits the most from it. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first proposal from the article is between the Denver Nuggets and the Chicago Bulls, where the Nuggets receive Zach LaVine in exchange for Michael Porter Jr. and Zeke Naji. The Nuggets are staying afloat this season almost solely on the back of Nikola Jokic ramping his insane production into a new gear, but realistically, most people understand that that's not a recipe for sustainable success in the long run. The Nuggets roster has gotten a bit depleted over the last few off seasons, and the reinforcements that they've brought in are uninspiring, so that, combined with the fact that Jamal Murray looks like a shell of his former self, is causing some internal debate. The Nuggets could find themselves looking for more offensive firepower around the trade deadline, and they're very limited in how they can go about adding that, so Michael Porter Jr. and his huge contract will need to be included in most offers to get things done. The issue is that I'm not convinced that he alone is going to sway teams into giving the Nuggets anything of significance, let alone someone like Zach LaVine. If this were last season, yeah, LaVine probably could have been moved for cheap because he was having his worst season in a very long time, shooting it inefficiently and struggling with injuries. But he's bounced back this season and is playing some of his cleanest and most efficient basketball of his career right now, which is why his trade value is going back up. But simultaneously, he's probably priced out of the Nuggets unless they throw more into their offer here. If the Nuggets are serious about wanting to bring in LaVine, they are 100% going to need to include some draft capital in this offer to even make the Bulls consider it, because in today's NBA, first-round picks are the starting point for star trades, and thinking that this would get done without any is pretty delusional. The next proposal from the article is actually a three-team deal between the Pistons, Heat, and Lakers, where the Lakers receive Jimmy Butler, the Heat receive Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, 2 protected first-round picks and a second-round pick, and the Pistons receive Jalen Hood-Schifino and a second-round pick. There's a lot going on here, but the premise of the deal is finding a way to get Jimmy Butler out of Miami and onto the Lakers, and in order to make it work, a third team would likely need to be brought in. There has been smoke coming out of Miami for a while now, dating back to the beginning of the summer, regarding Butler becoming increasingly unhappy in Miami and potentially wanting out, and that noise has grown substantially over the last few weeks. Butler is in the last guaranteed year of his current contract, and while he does have a player option for next season, reports have come out saying that he would be inclined to decline that option and instead become a free agent if he's not traded away, so his time in Miami is likely coming to an end soon. The Lakers are also reportedly ready to be one of the most active teams on the trade market in order to maximize the short amount of time that they have left with LeBron James and Anthony Davis as a partnership. I realize that with deals like this, it's impossible to make everybody happy, but sometimes you just have to make the most of a bad situation, and for the Heat, it's unrealistic to expect a groundbreaking offer for an underperforming 35-year-old Jimmy Butler, who is also on an expiring contract, so getting players like D'Angelo Russell and Gabe Vincent to bolster their thin backcourt, along with 2 first-round picks and Rui Hachimura, is pretty rock-solid value given the circumstances. The Lakers obviously benefit more here, bringing in a dominant playoff performer to pair with LeBron and AD, but for a Heat squad with very little leverage, this may be the best they can do. The next proposal from the article is between the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers, where the Warriors receive Anthony Davis in exchange for Jonathan Kuminga, Kevon Looney, Andrew Wiggins, 3 first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. It's crazy to see them propose something like this immediately after they just proposed a world where Jimmy Butler could be joining them, but I guess the idea here is if the Lakers take big swings and miss on all of them, then they may reroute their plans. But even in that sense, I'll just come right out and say that I don't think there's a chance in hell that Davis is going anywhere this season. The Lakers' season may be pretty up and down so far, but they are still 4 games above 500, comfortably in the playoff mix in a loaded Western Conference, and the likelihood of the LeBron James-Anthony Davis partnership being broken up before LeBron retires is slim to none. Obviously, I see why the Warriors would want to make some calls to try to make this happen, because right now they are very desperate for a second star to pair with Steph Curry to try to keep their contending hopes alive, while they still have Curry playing at a high level. But for the Lakers, after they just beat the Warriors on Christmas Day, to then trade them their best player would be one of the worst decisions a team could make in recent history. The Warriors will definitely be active scouring the market for a co-star to pair with Curry, it just simply will not be Anthony Davis. And finally, the last proposal from the article is between the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons, where the Pistons receive Zach LaVine and Torrey Craig in exchange for Simone Fontecchio, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Jaden Ivey. This one's intriguing because for this to go down, some difficult conversations will need to be had by the Pistons front office. After having drafted Jaden Ivey in the top 5 of the 2022 NBA draft, he has steadily been getting better and better every year, and this season he's putting together a very respectable campaign, putting up a career-high 18 points per game, shooting a career-best 39% from 3. He's developing good chemistry with Cade Cunningham, the team as a whole is taking the next step pushing for a playoff spot, and things are going well compared to last year, but objectively, they still have a losing record, and realistically their ceiling as a group is pretty low right now. Cade Cunningham is the only star-caliber player they have, and in today's NBA you probably need to compete in the playoffs, and with how well Zach LaVine is playing, he would definitely be an upgrade over Ivey, but how much of an upgrade in the short and long term is up for debate. Ivey is the type of young talent a rebuilding Bulls team would love to bring in, so from that side I definitely see the vision, but for the Pistons, they need to solidify whether or not they are committed to the long view, or if they want to accelerate things now and get this young core some playoff experience with LaVine's scoring boost playing off of Cade Cunningham's tremendous playmaking, and if they decide on the latter, then the Pistons still probably need to include some sort of draft capital in it just to get this offer across the finish line. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these proposed trades. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.